Hey, what's happening? Happy Monday to everybody. It's Daryl here. It's not so bright and early. It's 12 noon straight up here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I've been wanting to do this video for a day or two now since I saw that Bob Barker, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Bob, since I saw that he passed away of natural causes a day or two ago. I'll have the link down below so you can read all about him. He was a vegetarian. I did not know that. He, of course, most of us know that he was a firm supporter of PETA, ethical treatment of animals, the people for the ethical treatment of animals. At the end of every show, he would say, please remember to spay and neuter your pets. The reason I'm doing this video, if I look at my analytics, I could get a pretty good idea of the average age, what the majority of the average age of the people watching these videos are. The people watching my videos are a little younger than me. The majority, the largest percentage, are, I believe, they're in their 40s, late 40s, early 50s, probably a little younger than me. Then there's a good chunk of people around my age in the 50s. There's a good chunk of people in their 60s and 70s that are watching my channel. I think I picked up some new younger viewers in their 30s and 40s. When it gets down to your 20s, that's the smallest percentage. I think I've got maybe 5-10% of you are in your 20s. Now here's the thing: if you're younger than me, if you were born after, let's say, 1980, we'll just say 1980. If you're born after 1980, I think you're Generation Y. I don't think you're considered millennials. Help me out here if you help me out with that. But those of us that were born in the 60s, the 60s, the 70s especially, we hold a special place in our heart for Bob Barker. He was somebody. There's something that comes to our minds as soon as we see Bob Barker. There's something that we remember, a fond. With me, it's a fond memory. For you guys, some of you, maybe it's not. Bob Barker was our pal and our buddy when we missed a day of school, when we had a sick day. I'll get more into that. And also when we had a snow day. Okay, back in, let's say, the 70s. I was born in 66. And most of you watching will be able to relate to this. First of all, I hope that there's some younger viewers. Some of you guys that are born after 80, 1980, I hope you're watching this, because I'm just dying to tell you what it was like. You know, I can't believe I'm an old timer now. I'm the old man telling you guys you have it so easy. Back in my day, we used to have to, because, you know, when I was younger, the old guys would say, you guys got it. They said the same thing to us. Okay, so back in the 70s, let's say when I was between the age of 5 and 15 in the 70s, okay, and when we missed a day of school, if we were sick, Bob Barker, we back in our day, Bob Barker would do the Price is Right. There was no Ninja Turtles. We are the generation of Bugs Bunny and Scooby-Doo. Let's see, what was some of the other? Scooby-Doo, Bugs Bunny, Fred Flintstone. And when we stayed home from school, first of all, we'd have to call in. There was no cell phones. No cell phones. Hadn't been invented yet. No computers, no keyboards, none of that. No internet. Okay, imagine that. And we have fond memories of this because life was so much simpler there. And I'll tell you guys, in a second, I'll tell you guys about some of the good points of this. There was only 3 TV channels for most of us. There was ABC, NBC, and CBS. And in all the areas across the United States, most people, unless you were in a metropolitan area like New York City, there was additional channels. But for most of us, we had one CBS channel, one NBC channel, and one ABC channel. And sometimes, I think it was a UHF or was it VHF? Here it was a channel 20 that would come in barely. All right, there was no cable back in our day. So we, at the most, we had 4 channels. There just was not, it wasn't that because our parents didn't want to spend the money. There just was no other channels, period. That's all we had, 4 channels. There was no cable. So, like, my father installed this huge, we lived at the cabin for where my dad was the park ranger, and he installed a huge telephone pole, and on top of that, he put an antenna, because we were living down in the valley. and we'd have to get up and turn this electronic dial, and you'd hear the antenna moving above, like it's like a satellite. It's like a huge satellite dish, but it's antenna moving above the house. And we were lucky if we could get a decent picture with just a little snow and just a little rolling. It was nowhere near as clear. From what I remember, it was nowhere as clear as it was today. I remember the first time we bought it. My family bought a color TV set, probably around 19. It was right around, because I was 3 years old in the moon landing. And I know my grandparents came over shortly after that. My family bought a color TV, and my grandparents freaked out when they saw the color TV, like in 1970. This was the console TV, the one that sits on the floor, the big wooden job, the cabinet. And I remember my grandparents seeing it probably like in 1970 and going, "Oh my God, it's like they're actually in your living room," right? So, like I said, so when we were sick, we'd call in on the phones that were on the wall. The old dial. We had a phone on the wall with a cord. Like whenever you talk to your buddies, or when I got older, I talked to my girlfriend. You'd have to lay down like in the kitchen or in the hallway, because the cord, you couldn't go too far from where the phone was on the wall. So I spent so many like nights and days laying on the floor talking to my buddies, and later talking to girls, and kicking around on the floor with my feet up on the walls. Okay, so there's 3 channels, and if you missed a day of school, you'd watch probably cartoons in the morning, and if you were really sick, because we weren't always sick, if you were really sick, then you'd be laid up watching, and you'd watch TV, and you'd watch the cartoons, and then I think Price is Right with Bob Barker would come on around 10 a.m. I believe it was 10 a.m. Help me out here, guys, if you remember. Here on the East Coast, I'm pretty sure it was 10 a.m. And when Bob Barker and The Price is Right reminds all of us my age, reminds us of those days off when we didn't, we had a glorious day off from school where we could just lay around and eat cereal and watch cartoons. And and then there was Bewitched. I remember that was one of the shows that was on a lot back then. During Lost in Space, Bewitched, Star Trek was still doing reruns. I Dream of Jeannie was another big one. That was on more in the afternoon after The Price is Right. But for all of us at my age, Bob Barker and The Price is Right, just the first thing I guarantee that comes to people my age or younger, a little older, is a day off from school. The days when there was a snow day, like here in Connecticut, we would usually have anywhere from, I'd say, 5 to 10 snow days a year. We'd have to listen to the AM radio, tune the AM radio. There was no cable, none of that stuff. We'd have to tune it into the local AM station to see if our school in our area was canceled. And then, when it was canceled, there was a glorious snow day. On those days, you'd get to sled, the runner sleds, and go out and go sledding. There was no internet back then. When we finished watching TV, usually in the morning, we would go out and build forts, exploring, going exploring, me and my friends looked for caves a lot. We went exploring for caves because the area I live in there's some caves around here. That was one of our favorite things, going exploring, building forts. There's probably still forts. These wooden tree houses way in the woods. They're probably still built from all the tree houses I built back in the day. Building dams was another favorite of me and my friends. Damming up the local rivers and streams, which led to a lot of damage when there was a big flood. I remember one year our entire dirt and gravel driveway got washed out. I think to this day my family still doesn't know that I was responsible for the whole. There was like a 12-foot gully just taking out half of our yard and the driveway, because I dammed up the little local stream, and we had like a hurricane come through, and it backed everything up and just tore out the whole lawn and the driveway. And if they ever watch this video, this will be the first time they ever heard about it. But anyway, I just wanted to take a little walk down memory lane and let me know what you think. Do you have the same memories as I do? What's your age? If you're younger, what's your memories of sick days, of snow? If you live down south, You know, share with me what you want. I don't know what you guys do down south during the. I don't know if you're, you know, if you just blow days off or whatever, but we were blessed with snow days up here in the north during the winter. So share with me. Let me know in the comments what's going on, what you remember. But Bob Barker is a fond memory from my from the '70s, from the days off school. He was our pal on days off from school. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Bob. And remember to spay and neuter your pets. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys, the link's down below for the TMZ links, so you could read up if you want to read up on Bob Barker's passing away. Have a good Monday.